Hello, everyone, and welcome back to A Bricks and Dragon. Today, we are looking at the legendary luxury 3000 yacht. Now, this has been brought up a couple different times throughout the whole Star Wars universe series. Now, initially, this was brought up because Lando Calrissian had bought one of these and he had modified it himself for his own personal yacht. Um, so here we are. When they had done, Sony was behind doing Star Wars as a online MMO, um, and this was another one of the ships that they had. So we got to see the ship, the interiors of it, and some of the glory that we have of it. So we do have some write-ups from Wikipedia. I will read through this. As you can see, we have a nice picture. If you look online, there are plenty of pictures because this is an iconic ship. Like I said, because it was used in um, Sony's Star Wars MMO, but more importantly, because Lando Calrissian had owned one of these as his own personal yacht. Um, and there was a couple different. There was a 3000 series. I think there was like a 2000 series. We have the 3000 series here, so we do have some interiors. We'll kind of go through some of this a little bit, and we'll kind of read through here. So this is a personal luxury yacht. It was about 50 meters long with a pair of engine pods that extended from each side of the hull. Each pod housed a sublight engine and a hyperdrive engine. It also had an observation level with an exterior deck near the aft of the ship, while the interior compartment had a small jet stream, a meditation pool, and several comfort couches. The main deck offered a dining area, a large private suite, and a 5 visitor cabins, as well as the escape pods, the bridge, and the main control systems. In addition, the viewports on the side of the ship were retractable. Above the bridge was a docking coupling. It also housed a retractable laser cannon in the ventral side of the ship for uh, the event of emergencies. It sometimes also utilized ion engines. The power couplings and sensor arrays were at the front of the ship and in some cases jutted out, depending on how people had modified them. The personal luxury yacht 3000s made by Suro Sub were utilized as early as the Clone Wars, including a visit to Naboo by Supreme Chancellor Palpatine during the liberation of Gerald V by the Rebel Alliance. The planet's imperial governor used a small fleet of these yachts in an attempt to pillage the planet's priceless treasures and military supplies as he fled. This was thwarted by Gold Squadron's use of ion cannons. A single yacht was also seen during Rogue Squadron's raid on Tolorian. Um, the ship this type of ship was later used by members of the New Republic, namely, like I said, Lando Calrissian, the owner of the Lady Luck, and Mara Jade Skywalker, owner of Jade's Fire. So, um, looking at the ship itself, we see the engine pods, and here in this computer rendition of it, they kind of stick out here. They are fairly notable, a little bit more than what our picture shows. Here's our antenna, sensor arrays, our retractable laser cannon. So we have an observation deck, a living deck, and a bridge deck. So all the way up on top is our observation deck. We have our living area in the main section, although this could be opened up so you had a wonderful view of everything. And the bridge was in the front. Um, so we have our aft control stations, stairs to the observation area, our emergency supply closet, escape pod access hatch. Here's our dining area. Here's our deluxe cabins, the head, our supplies, ladder going down, a galley. Here's our bridge. Now, one of the things I will say, because I remember having one of these when Sony did have the Star Trek Online or Star Wars Online. I'm sorry. Um, they had a very elaborate walkway going down to the lower level, and really they had kind of set it up more as a single occupancy vessel. The dining area and all that was really opened up a lot more for observations and stuff like that. Um, I don't know if they really had a full grasp of what they really had here. Um, Sony, for all of its grandeur that they have done, doing video games and systems and all that stuff, I think when they had Star Wars, they really didn't grasp some of the things that really needed, and I think that's ultimately why it didn't last in the long run. Um, I know there was some things in there that I was kind of disheartened with. You know, you could run around for so long, but then you had to actually in game kind of sit around and do nothing. They wanted you to kind of just interact with people, and it really slowed the game down. Ship combat, when they got brought that in, had its own set of dynamics that just didn't really seem to work. But that's all neither here or there at this point. The ship itself, like I said, very iconic because I do remember Lando Calrissian having it, um, and him flying to Lady Luck to help Han Solo and Leia Solo, and of course Luke and the rest of the gang. Um, Very, very notable. So here we have the observation deck, and we have an exterior deck, which is our aft kind of walking area. So once you get into a planetary system that has oxygen and all that, you have a very nice deck that you can kind of go on. And of course, we have a small meditation pool and some sofas and couches here, and here's our stairwell. Um, so we do get a very good sense of the ship and the beauty and the grandeur of it. Lando being a very good business person. I mean, swindler, whatever. I mean, he was very good at getting businesses and all that stuff. And he had always been able to keep that going, including buying part of Kessel and making medical spice out of that. Not doing the illegal stuff, but legal medical stuff. Because spice was used quite often for a bunch of different things. There's some legal medical purposes, then there were unlegal drugs and stuff like that out of it. Um, and towards the end of the actual George Lucas era of owning Star Wars and all that in one of the last trilogies, they used the Lady Luck to help Han and uh, Lando to get around and try and um, avoid the antagonizers of the series. So, um, looking at it, let's see. We have this is Rise of the Empire. So, like I said in the read up or write up, because they did put this in during the Clone Wars, so you do get to see it in there. Um, Depending on what era you want to play it in, it's very easy to throw it in almost anywhere. We are 50 meters long. It does only require a crew of one, so that works perfectly well for Lando. You can have up to 10 passengers, and it does carry about 100 metric tons. So this puts it on the same level of a freighter like the Millennium Falcon. Consumables for 1 month, so you can jet around for about a month at a time without having to stop and get more supplies. Brand new, we are looking at 250,000 credits and about 150,000 used. Has a times 2 hyperdrive, so it's not the fastest ship in the galaxy. It has a backup hyperdrive of 14. Does have a nav computer, so if you decide that hey, you suddenly want to go over to Ord Mantell or wherever on the whim, you can easily do that instead of saying, hey, I just want to go over to Coruscant and back to wherever. Maneuverability, it's not a very maneuverable ship. Remember, this is a pleasure yacht. This is not meant for starfighting or anything else. Really, this is a when you look at the big ships and all that stuff, this is starting to get into that territory here. Space is a 5, so it is not a very fast ship as well. Um, we are going about 850 kilometers per hour. Hull is a 2D plus 2, so it is a little bit above average. It does have some shields, which, when you're doing intergalactic travel, I think is a very good thing. Sensor wise, passive or our sensors look very good. Our passive sensors go out 2.5 kilometers. Our scan is 5 kilometers. Our search is 7.5 kilometers, and our focus is 300 meters. Um, so when we're figuring that all out, um, so really for a general ship and all that, just trying to avoid issues or whatever, very good. Now I believe when Lando had done his, he had upgraded his engines and all that. I think he was doing a lot better um, on his than what most people had. But there again, he was also a general for the Rebel Alliance. So when the New Republic had kind of started up in that, and he was doing work for the New Republic, um, much like Han Solo with the Falcon. They were given a little extra leeway as to what they could or could not have because being of a general rank and doing diplomatic missions or other missions that were kind of having them called upon to do, um, they were given that freedom to be able to upgrade their ships so that way they could live their normal life, but then also step up and help out. Um, and so here we are. As you notice, this is where we stop on this. Most of these ships really had no weaponry. The Lady Luck did have a laser cannon, but most of these are unarmed. I mean, for the private pirates and privateers, these are really considered great prize ships. Something that you can come in, just a rudimentary fighter, um, even a poor cobbled together ugly fighter or whatever could very well take over one of these because it doesn't have any weapons typically to defend itself, and usually it's used by the wealthy. So in those regards, um, it's a great prize vessel that pirates would really like to kind of go after. So um, as far as doing this for a group, if you were going to do this in a group or whatever, this works really nice because you only need a crew of one and you have the ability to have 10 passengers in here. Much like when we look at the Millennium Falcon, the fact that it doesn't take a huge crew to really pilot it, and then you can throw the rest of the group in there and they can all kind of stay together. So, um, wonderful ship, wonderful to be able to show this to you. Hopefully, this gets you all excited because we are here in May, and the 4th is right here, and because of that, really want to kind of center on uh, Star Wars for the month. Um, so, hope you're having a wonderful day. We'll see you in the next video.